Alright, what's up everybody? Brian here, and this is my Impact Wrestling review for last night's episode of Impact Wrestling. I'm going to give basically just the gist of what happened last night as far as setting up for future matches and stuff like that heading into the next 2 weeks. We did find out Cult of Lee, Trevor Lee, and Caleb Connolly, they defeated LAX on last night's episode in a non-title match, thus earning another opportunity at LAX, but this time it will be for the Impact World Tag Team Championships, and that match will happen on March 8th on the very special edition of Impact called Crossroads. We saw Brian Cage, the Machine, who debuted last week in a very dominant victory, and his victory last night was was dominant as well. Of course, anyone that watches Lucha Underground knows who Brian Cage is. Very dominant there, and now he is in Impact Wrestling, and hopefully they do a lot with Cage going further. We found out that Matt Sydal, he has made a challenge for March 8th against X Division champion Taiji Ishimori. So that'll be interesting to see if Ishimori answers the challenge. He made the challenge last night talking to his spiritual advisor, who has really changed his attitude as of late. Let's see what else. We also saw EC3 and Johnny Impact compete in a number one contenders match. This came about because of what happened last week in the tag team match with Johnny Impact and Matt Sydal teaming up to take on EC3 and the returning Tyrus, who played dividends for EC3 in last week's tag team match. Thus, that got this matchup for last night's episode, EC3 and Johnny Impact. Johnny Impact came out on top after EC3, who looked like he was going to get ready to beat Johnny Impact, and basically he hit him with the 1%er. Johnny kicked out, and then EC3 and Tyrus would start arguing outside the ring. EC3 would push Tyrus, and Tyrus would push him back, and then leave. And that was all the distraction that distracted EC3. He could not capitalize after that. So Johnny Impact will face the Impact World Champion Austin Aries, who defeated Eli Drake a few weeks ago after returning to Impact Wrestling. Austin Aries will defend the Impact World title against Johnny Impact on March 8th at Crossroads. We saw the continuation of the whole Congo Kong, Jimmy Jacobs, and the Park family saga continue as far as Jimmy Jacobs and Congo Kong were wanting Abyss to return. Now they've added another dynamic to the whole Park family. We've seen Joseph Park, we've seen Chandler Park, Joseph Park's cousin. And then we saw last night, Grandma Jenny Park, who came out, confronted Jimmy Jacobs and Congo Kong, telling them that Abyss is never coming back. She slapped Jimmy Jacobs. Jacobs would then sick Congo Kong on her. Joseph Park would come out, basically make a challenge, saying that next week he's going to fight Congo Kong, and that was pretty much it. And then basically that segment ended with Congo Kong and Jimmy Jacobs leaving Joseph Park laying. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how they, if they bring Abyss back or Abyss out, as as they would say, to see how they set that whole dynamic up. When he comes out or what have you. So I think that would be a pretty good match. Congo Kong and Abyss, to see who is the true monster of Impact Wrestling. I'm just intrigued how they're gonna interested to see how they're gonna set that whole where Abyss comes back and stuff like that. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, we had 2 matches that they filmed. One in Toronto with Matt Sydal retaining the Impact Grand Championship against Petey Williams. The other one was from Las Vegas, where Alberto El Patron defeated Moose in a no disqualification, anything goes match. We also found out, besides Congo Kong and Joseph Parker one-on-one, we found out that Eddie Edwards is going to take on Sami Callihan of OVE next week. And we found out that there's going to be some kind of commitment ceremony with Laurel Van Ness and the Knockouts Championship. So that should be interesting to see what happens there. As far as the Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan matchup is concerned, that comes about because of what happened last night on the last night's episode, where Eddie Edwards and Lashley defeated OVE in a tag team match based upon what happened last week, where Eddie Edwards helped Lashley when OVE was beating him down in the ring. So that should be an interesting matchup to see with Edwards and Callihan. Let me see, am I missing anything? No, not missing anything. So that was pretty much what happened on last night's episode. Last night's episode I thought was pretty good. A lot of good action, a lot of good setups for the next 2 weeks as far as matches are concerned. It'll be interesting to see what happens next week, as well as at Crossroads with Aries and Johnny Impact for the Impact World Title, as well as Cult of Lee and LAX on that episode with the Impact Tag Team Championships on the line. I'm trying to see if I did miss anything. No. But my overall thoughts on last night's episode, I thought it was actually pretty good. The last few weeks have been really good. There have been really good episodes of Impact on Pop over the last few weeks. Worth checking out. So if you guys watched Impact Wrestling last night, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. And what do you think is going to happen next week, as well as at Crossroads? So with that being said, this has been my Impact Wrestling review for last night's episode. I thought it was a pretty good episode last night. Let me know what you guys thought of it. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.